Oh shit. Let's do this thing. Welcome to the House of the Exploited. The people up here before you may not look so familiar to you, but you've seen their handiwork, and they are the creative mind behind the radio, TV, print, street-level marketing, and internet ad campaigns that have shaped the artist careers that you love and respect. And we are so pleased that you joined us here today, babies. As no one is here to hear themselves talk, but rather to answer your questions. Because we got in for free, in all honesty, just for being here at this panel today. So, let us earn it and answer your fucking questions, y'all. Before we get into that, we got some serious prizes at the end when we do questions. For the winners of our best 3 questions, 50 custom tour passes, laminates, and access passes. A custom ad mat designed by Bill Young Productions. And for the grand prize, an Aston Live Conference badge registration for the very best questions. So some serious passes today and prizes for our awards. So think of some great questions. We're going to get to them at the end, but we're going to pay it off. But let me introduce you to this beautiful lady.
I'm telling you to not turn your, every time you turn, they can't hear you.
You going to give me stage cues in the middle of this thing, motherfucker?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to help people.
Helping you out.
When I was a young boy, and Jim Lewi once told me how to do shit, and I started to listen, and then I got really, really, really unsuccessful. It was awesome. Jamie Loeb is the blah, blah, blah of marketing for Nederlander concerts. She has worked her way up from concert committee at UC Santa Barbara to MCA Concerts, to ICM, Giant Records, Artist Direct, House of Blues, into Live Nation, and spending the last 6 years at Nederlander Concerts. You might know them better as the people that own the New York Yankees. Jamie is most well known for her love of cooking and marrying some Ticketmaster bigwig. And she once had a musician try to buy her plaid pants from her, while still wearing them. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the princess of pre-sale, Jamie Loeb! And now for our Johns. Promoter Harvey Cohen is a real Canadian mensch, producing over 700 shows a year across Canada. As a full partner in Canada's largest independent promotion firm, the Union Ltd., working with everyone from Slayer to Joan Rivers. They do it all. Harvey is kind of the Canadian me, but with the conversion rate only about 78%.
Jim, you're supposed to turn away from the mic when you do that.
Representing the new school, please give it up for Mr. Harvey motherfucking Cohen, y'all! Jim Lewi, is it fair to say that you have had a lot of business cards?
Yes.
Including concert promoter, tour manager, festival organizer, sponsorship specialist, social marketing mastermind, but currently calling Red Light Management home. You know, the folks that handle Dave Matthews and Fish. Jim once actually stole a nitrous oxide tape from the police department in the line of duty, and has always rooted against the Dallas Cowboys and cruelty to animals. Friends, neighbors, countrymen, please put your hands together for the King of Aspen and Mr. Sexual Chocolate himself, Jim Lewi! This man is the director of booking at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, the home of the Spurs. He has worked with all of the greats as a concert promoter, venue executive, sponsorship specialist, and his venue has hosted Taylor Swift, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Drake, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, Zac Brown, Jay-Z, Jason Aldean, and the Harlem Globetrotters just in the past year. Jeff is best well known for telling Whitney Houston, "You're hired help to get your ass on stage." He's always hoped to one day work with Jessica Rabbit. I don't have the heart to tell him she's a cartoon character. Austin, Texas, please welcome the Dan and Tanner of San Antonio, Jeff Chabon! From Dan Steinberg Square Peg Concerts, I'll be guiding you through the next hour. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. You're just gonna fuck with me all.
She sneezed. I just said, bless you.
Motherfucker, we're going deep tonight. You and me. It's gonna happen. It's on. Anyway, so relax. If you care to tweet her along the way, hashtag pimp South by Southwest. Or you could follow, if you want to follow any of us on Twitter, those are all of ours. I'm the Jew. We're going to go ahead and start with some fundamentals and get into a little bit more advanced kinky shit as we go. I'm going to ask you to hold your questions until the end. So let's begin. Round one. Artist development of artist assets. Harvey, can you explain why artist assets, what they are?
Well, artist assets generally would be broken out into, they can be audio, video, print. So when it comes to print or images, that would be anywhere from ad mats to artist-approved images. Video would be tour announces, live footage, once again, can be ad mats that are produced. And then audio, once again, would be interviews, obviously, live performances, and recorded. So it's essentially any asset that they'll provide a promoter with to utilize when we're trying to sell tickets.
Jamie, how important is it to have current and approved artist assets, aka creative?
Oh my God, if I have one more artist that tells me that they want to go on sale right now, but has no finished radio spot, no finished photo, no finished artwork, I might have to kill someone.
Fair.
Jim, as an artist manager, how do you go about developing these artist assets?
You know, quite frankly, I don't think managers do a very good job of developing that for the people who need those assets, because the artists can be difficult.
You're being nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the first thing to say, is that we should do a better job of it, and let the people be more creative with creating those assets, like a Bill Young Productions or tour design.
You're talking about Bill Young being creative, or you're talking about letting Jamie be creative?
I'm talking about letting Jamie be creative.
Problem with that is not everybody's Jamie.
Understood. No, 100%. But promoters have to be. Promoters feel like they don't have a say in what goes on in shows anymore, and I believe that they're, you know, the most important part, because there's no money without them. So.
Oh, that's a conversation we're going to get into later in the hotel room. Jeff, what are some of the tools that your venue can utilize with artist assets that you have in place already at your venue?
Well, the nice thing having the venue is the inventory that we can provide, meaning at the games, video of a spot, or even an artist doing a countdown to introduce the Spurs. We have concourse TVs, we have social media. A lot of promoters do not realize the assets that a venue, whether it's an arena or even a club, that can offer. So it's very important to be able to go to them and find out exactly what they have, what they can do to help you promote your shows.
So if I don't have art for you to put on the scoreboard, that's a free ad I'm losing for 15,000 people a night that are coming to see the Spurs.
Absolutely.
That you'll run for me for free if I'm renting your venue later in the month.
Exactly.
That seems like a pretty good ad. It's worthwhile. Can you put up the Facebook page? We created some assets with the help of John Schultz at Bill Young Productions for this panel today. Now, if we can do it for a panel, we created a Facebook page. Can you go to the ad mat? We created an ad mat. And then we localized the ad mat particularly for today's panel with the information of the panel and the after party, which we'll get into later. Come drink with us on Bill Young's dime afterwards. It'll be fun. And we created a TV spot as well. Can you roll that real quick?
Are you ready for an all-ages, toe-to-toe and head-to-head extravaganza? Then get ready for the ultimate battle of marketing conversation. The South by Southwest Badass Concert Marketing Back the Wednesday, March 12th at Austin Convention Center, 500 East Cesar Chavez, Austin. Doors open at 3:50. Session starts at 3:30. Featuring live on stage from AEG Live, Amy Morrison. From Nederlander Concerts, Los Angeles, the incomparable Jamie Loeb. From the AT&T Center in San Antonio, home of the San Antonio Spurs, Jeff Chabon. From Red Light management and live works, the one they call Jim Lewi. And your host, direct from Square Peg Concerts in Washington, the man, the legend, the Q. Dan Steinberg, your South by Southwest music badge gets you in.
So proud.
Join the official after party sponsored by Bill Young Productions at Rusty's at the corner of 7th and Trinity, 4 blocks from the convention center. Free drinks, trivia, prizes, and a whole lot of laughs. Now prepare as Steiny Mania is about to run wild all over you.
What you gonna do, Austin, Texas, when Steiny Mania runs wild all over you?
Are you ready for an all-ages, toe-to-toe and head-to-head?
Yes, I'm ready.
So we were able to create that just for this panel. We don't have an album out. We don't have any real things. If we can do that for an hour panel at South by with no real creative, imagine what you can do with your artist if you have the creative powers of a Bill Young to help you. And they can do that relatively easy. And even if you're not at that level yet where you want to pay Bill Young to do that, you can get creative and create something so your brand is there in each market and replicate, so you're controlling those things. Let's talk about identifying the players. Harvey, what does a publicist do for the act?
Ideally, your publicist controls the message that's going out about you. They create stories, whether they are issuing press releases, they're getting you interviews, they're working the markets, but ideally what the key is that you are having them control the message you want out to the people.
And when major labels existed, we used to have that help more often, and that's kind of gone to the wayside, so that's now the job of Jamie and you and me promoting the show or the club.
Absolutely, yeah. And so,
it's a nice added bonus though, right, when they actually have one?
Absolutely.
Jim, what does the manager actually do for the artist?
Collects a check.
You were making friends today, baby.
Sorry, artists. In my opinion,
Ideally, in an ideal world, what would a good manager do for an artist?
plan their career more than 2 months ahead, I would say. I mean, I think that a personal manager, and for those of you who are managers or those artists who have managers, you know that it runs the gambit. You know, I mean, when you first start out with a band, you're creating their assets, you're creating their mailing list, you're signing people up for the mailing list, you're trying to get them a record deal, you're trying to get them
So your mom.
in front of you. Well, your mom plus, you're the business manager plus mom.
Okay. Jeff, what is the venue's role in the promotion of the show?
To assist the promoters to sell tickets. So anything that we can help and offer up, we're going to do that.
We like that. Jamie?
At no additional cost, because you're paying rent.
Well, it's all in pricing, baby. Jamie, what's a concert promoter's responsibility?
Simply get butts in seats, sell as many tickets to an artist's show as possible, and if we have the help of the artist and of the building, then it makes that job that much easier.
Excellent. Who wants a quickie? Let's do a speed round. Just looking for your personal preferences, just can't say both. Jamie, radio or internet ads?
Bang for the buck, internet ads.
Jeff, hip-hop or punk rock?
Hip-hop.
You look pretty gangster to me, motherfucker. Harvey,
Spotify.
oh my God. Jim, are you a bottom or a top?
I can't say both. Bottom.
Let me introduce Mr. White. He's our sommelier for today. Mr. White has paired with you for each course of the day. Come on up. A wine sampling paired with, it looks like, cheese and crackers.
Yes, we have a crisp 2012 Beringer Sauvignon Blanc paired up with a Swiss spread.
Please go ahead and enjoy.
Spread.
Which goes nicely with this next round of questions. Standing out above the crowd, how are our artists with limited skills and talent able to outdraw more talented acts, Jim?
What?
How are artists with limited skills and talent able to outdraw better bands?
You know, I think that one of the things that musicians don't put enough creed in, enough credibility in, is, what's the question again?
Jamie, you promote shows in LA.
Yes.
With the volume in your market, it's just fucking unreal. How do you manage to compete with everything else going on there?
You try and do it better. You try and make your message better. You try and target the audience. It's not cookie cutter. You don't do the same thing for every show in every building. To me, it's a game. There's an audience for this artist. Where are they? How do I reach them for the least amount of money possible, quite honestly?
Harvey, not every act you touch is on the level of a Mumford & Sons. How do you put asses in seats with less well-known artists?
Number one is pricing your tickets right. So that's getting the artist on board to ensure that, you know, the deal's cut, that we can offer tickets to fans at a reasonable price. Keeping service charges down. Obviously, when we're doing, you know, arena level business, you know, service charges can sometimes creep up substantially high, but on a lower level artists, less known artists, it's really important to keep service charges down. And I think most importantly is to get the artist involved. It's for them to be utilizing their social media, etc., to target people in the markets, let them know they're coming, and then leave the shows to us.
Can I do a part two really quick?
You can have definitely.
We've done, I think Nederlander in particular has done a really good job of internet marketing, social media, Facebook promoted posts, Google search ads. Just, we've done a really good job in that way, and we've been able to lower our spend as a result. So that's the main difference.
Finding your fans online.
Yes.
Dan, I was going to say drive. That's what I was going to say. If you have a Lars Ehrlich in your band, it doesn't matter if he's a good drummer or not at some point. It matters that he has more drive than the next guy. And that makes the biggest difference for an artist, in my opinion.
I don't even remember the question. Jeff, how important is it to run paid ads on social media like Facebook? Jamie was saying.
Very important. As we found out, you know, everything's getting more fragmented. Back when I got started, way, you know, back in the 70s, 80s, it was easy to be a promoter. You bought the radio station that played the artist. You put some posters up at the record store that sold the tickets. Done.
You've been in the business long enough to have bought radio?
Can you tell? I earned this gray hair.
Do you have like albums and shit too?
Actually, on the vinyl, absolutely.
What was that like?
It was actually, I left them a long time ago. Too much to carry around every job.
So you're not old, you're vintage.
There you go. Thank you. Historical, but it's important to find, you know, where you can go ahead and you know, find your audience. And social media, you know, it's so much harder now because of the Spotify's, Pandora, Beats, I think, just came out with something. That Neil Young just launched something.
Sort of.
And we'll get into some of that stuff. But, okay, Jamie, what's your budget for a typical club show? Let's call it a 1,200-seater with a $20 ticket price. How much would you spend on ads?
Traditionally, $5,000.
Okay, we're talking about LA.
Yeah,
so, okay.
We're talking about LA.
And what percentage of that would be online? It's called a youth act, by the way, so
30%.
Okay.
But that's also dealing with a building that has regular shows going into it, a frequency of shows going into it. So we can co-op ads, and we can co-op print ads, we can co-op radio ads to make those spend lower. But if you're going into a building,
about splitting that amongst other shows that are also playing the same venue at the same time.
Yes. But if you're coming into a venue and it's the only show you've got in there, then you've got to be spending probably 50 to 60% of that online, because you can't afford to buy anything else.
You can, but you're just going to lose.
You're going to lose, yeah.
Harvey, are your internet ads normally geo-targeted?
Absolutely, 1,000%.
Okay, in case, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, if you don't know what geo-targeting is, on Facebook or some of the other social media sites, you can buy zip codes or cities or states or entire countries depending on how you want to hit something. So you don't have to buy the whole country of every fan of that act. You can buy the 6 miles around your venue if you want to.
Yeah, and we find that geo-targeting is really, really important, because at the end of the day, it's, if we go and buy a national tour, great, it may feel nice to stroke our dicks and say, hey, we're doing 30 shows, look at us, we're really fucking important. But in reality, the fan in Toronto doesn't give a shit that we're doing the show in Vancouver, so you geo-target them, and local is certainly best.
Yeah, anybody that tells you that they can't geo-target, next.
Yeah.
Don't even waste the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some amazing industry legends in the room. Rick Bondi of the Tahoe Agency wrote Blink-182 and Less Than Jake, Snake and Pickle, anything that was ska before it became a trend, and made punk rock ska happen. Rick Bondi in the motherfucking room, y'all. Woo! Bill Young Productions, John Schultz created the TV spots and all of the monster truck ads you've ever seen in your life. John Schultz, ladies and gentlemen. You know I'm not going to miss you. Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Cohen is a legend, an absolute legend. There would be no Van Halen if it wasn't for Ted Cohen. Guys, a legend. Give it up for him. Let's go back to social media. Jeff, how many followers does the AT&T Center have?
We have close to 40,000 and growing.
So a retweet from you really fucking matters.
It does.
And how many people are on your email list?
We have about 120,000 for AT&T Center, but what we do then is target it down to who our ticket buyers were for the same genre of music. So going back to not really geo-targeting, but genre targeting.
Well, anyone that's ever bought a ticket for your room clearly could buy again, for the most part.
Absolutely, but we can also go to the people that
Are more likely.
Yeah.
But for the cost of designing an email, you can hit 120,000 people if you
absolutely.
wanted to. Harvey, what social media platform should a serious-minded artist be represented on?
Oh, certainly still Facebook's #1. It's as many people, talk about the inevitable demise of Facebook. It's still massive. Facebook, I think.
Yeah, I've been worried about Mark a while.
Yeah, he's having real trouble. I think he's having real trouble. I think Facebook right now has just over 1.2 billion active users in 2013, which still dwarfs anybody. But I think the most important element of Facebook, as we've talked about, once again, is targeting. No one even comes close to any of the other platforms being able to target your audience like Facebook can still.
Are you buying Google ads or are you buying Twitter ads?
We buy a lot of Google ads and we buy a lot of Facebook.
What about YouTube?
We have some on our festivals. We tend to target into YouTube.
I think a lot of people don't know how big YouTube is when you buy ads, and we spend about 40% of our buy on the Trailer Park Boys nationwide on YouTube. And we're a stoner population on that particular tour. And if I want to find stoners at 2 o'clock in the morning, they're downloading Trailer Park Boy ads on YouTube. It works perfectly. My ad for their city geo-targeted right on top of it. It's a genius place, and they're cheap as hell. Yeah. Compared to Facebook, it's a lot cheaper. You don't get the eyeballs, but you can really hit the right acts. Jim, do the major acts do their own status updates on Facebook and Twitter, or is that normally phoned in by the internet management of the label?
It depends on the artist, like everything else. I mean, some people farm it out and some do it themselves. I think a lot of the younger pop stars would prefer to do it themselves because they're younger and hipper. And you...
Do you do your own tweets?
Of course.
Jamie, is it possible to overwork social media with too many retweets and overlapping content via different sites?
Oh, yes. Most definitely. God, you want to make sure that you... Do you want somebody going, hey, 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 hey? I mean, how annoying is that?
That's his job. He's the manager.
That consider your tweets somebody poking. You're poking someone. You want to get their attention, but you don't want to keep doing it over and over and over again in a short amount of time. You got to be very mindful and plan them out carefully.
How you feeling, Austin? Woo! We did okay? We got your attention? Yeah, you keep going then. Yeah. Let's do another speed round. Harvey, more effective, flyers or Twitter?
Apples and oranges, you can't compare the two.
It was an either-or question, but okay, sure. Fucking Canadians every time. Jim, better barbecue, Franklin or the Salt Lake?
Salt Lake.
Jamie, better lip sync, Milli Vanilli or the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Oh. Milli Vanilli.
They want a Grammy.
Girl, you know it's true.
And Juno.
Jeff, spit or swallow?
Definitely spit.
Let's find out what this next round of pairings from our sommelier, Mr. Jeff White. What do you have for us, Jeff?
Well, thank you, Dan. We have a nice rosé, non-vintage Sutter Home with a pink Moscato, no vintage.
No vintage.
I'm not a swallower.
No one asked. What if your band... What's that?
Is that avocado?
What's that? You mealed it. What if my band does not have the assets or resources in place to do what the big bands do? Simply as if you do and do it your goddamn self. Harvey, some of the biggest bands in the world are still personally hands-on themselves with their management. So how involved do you get with the artist, with their actual input, and hearing from them directly?
It's a tough question because to actually like be one-on-one with the artist requires generally some sort of personal relationship. So there's some bands that we've built up from 200-seat club bands that are now doing arenas. So generally, you know, we've got to know those artists not only on a business level, but it's been on a personal level where you can reach out and then you actually get their involvement, where some acts could give two shits.
Jim Lewi, ladies and gentlemen. You know, he can take it.
No, I'm sorry. I think I caused that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's your family. I always get the wrong person when I'm talking with you guys in public. Jamie, what if you don't have a publicist? What are some of the tricks to attracting the attention of the media and trendsetters for the first time in a new market for an act?
Use the tools that you have available to you. If you're booked on a show in a venue, contact the venue. See what social media they have. See what reach they have with radio, with different writers, with their and tap in, especially to their social media. I mean, that's the driving role of what we're talking about up here. And if you're opening for someone, make friends with the headliner. Have them tweet out and post that you're appearing with them. You want to follow and friend the building. You want to follow and friend the promoter. You want to follow and friend the headlining act. Just get in there. You can get in there. You can do it. It takes some time, but it's doable.
You should all follow Jamie Loeb too. She's hilarious during the award shows. It's at Jamie Loeb. Worth doing. Jeff, can anyone rent your venue?
Anyone can, as long as they have money.
What's your daily rate? What's the rate card?
The rate card for and this is San Antonio, but it's $75,000 for our 18,000 seat venue, which includes pretty much all the labor, all the front of house labor. So we are pretty.
But for you, 72.
But deals can be, done depending on the day of the week, the timing of the year.
Okay, what size venue would you suggest next start in the first time in a market without a single at radio or a buzz already in the market?
Definitely look at the 500 to 750 seat club music venue.
Okay. Jim, without a manager, label, or agent in place, what would you suggest a band do themselves to have a greater chance to succeed?
Call me.
It's a real question. Come on, answer that.
I am. I mean, just what I said earlier about the whole Lars thing. I mean, it's about getting something in the paper. It's about making your own posters. It's about. Am I not answering it properly?
Well, no. I mean, there are a lot of our friends in the room, but there are people that are actually in the room that want to know this stuff because they don't go to Polestar and they don't go to Billboard. Like, that's a real question.
Are you getting mad at me?
Yeah, I am. Stop fucking around. Answer the freaking question. Like, people want to know what managers do. Like, they came to hear you. They could be drinking somewhere.
True.
Answer the question.
I thought I just did.
I think you phoned that in. Answer the question. You can do this.
I don't. I think
Would you repeat the question, please?
What can a band do to set themselves up when they don't have a label or a manager or a publicist to have a chance to succeed on their own?
Record a lot, not necessarily albums, but singles, and continue to build a following online. There are bands that break online, and it's happened obviously more than once, so that would be my answer.
That's an awesome answer. Give it up for Jim Lewi. Answer your question. Harvey, when working with an act with very limited budget, are there any forms of marketing acts can do themselves, which is cost effective, that will make a difference in their draw?
Artists spending money on our shows? Yeah, good luck. Generally,
okay, you spending the money.
Once again, we go back to online. It's, targeting ads on Facebook is generally the lowest cost for 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks in a market, you can get, you can get your ad in front of people, you can get your story in front of people.
Jamie, do you want to chime in?
Yes. If you have a Facebook page, it is easy to give advertising admin to the promoters that are doing your shows. They can't post things for you, but if you post, hey, I'm coming to the Grove of Anaheim in Los Angeles, I can then put some money behind that post and turn it into something that is more sticky because it reaches more of your people, it has more traction. Anything, if you're an artist and you have any kind of following, your people are going to be more in tune with what's happening with you than my people are with the venue or with the promoter. So if you, it sounds weird, but check it out on your Facebook page, look for advertising admin. You can give those, it's a pain in the ass, you got to get their personal emails and enter it in, but once you give that, it opens the door.
So what she's saying, to summarize, if you're playing a club in a market, you can say to them, you can use our fan base through our Facebook account and use your money to help promote our shows to our fans directly, because it looks so much better when the band is promoting the show than the venue's promoting the show, because it looks so much more credible. And that can be done with the venue's budget if you talk to their marketing directors.
Correct.
So let's get to know our panelists a little bit, shall we? Yeah. The music business is very similar to the mixology of a... Jesus Christ. Blah, 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 blah.
Too much wine?
Right? And I'm not drinking along with you guys. Quickly, I'd like to quickly compare our panelists to the sweet alcoholic concoctions I see them all as.
Oh, no.
Jeff is tropical, full of rum, and loves getting caught in the rain. If you're not into yoga, and if you have half a brain, if you like pina coladas, you'll love you some Jeff. Jamie's a little minty, cool and sweet, making her our mint julep. Jim is an East Coast Jew, keeping it simple, classy, and dry. That's right, shaken, not stirred. Jim's our martini, bitches. And Harvey is cool, chilled, frothy, with a solid Canadian head, making him a tall pint of Molson. Don't you know? Eh. And of course, I'm a banana daiquiri, because I'm fruity and delightful. Got a problem with that? Helpful tips. Jeff, what should an act expect from a venue when playing there?
Professionalism, full access, just being comfortable in our venue, which we've done a very good job.
So is it okay for Snoop Dogg to smoke pot in your venue?
I will look the other way.
We play in there. What assets should be offered to the venue for best results?
From the act itself, their availability to market themselves. Like I said, we have, 18,000 people at a Spurs game, down to 5,000 people at a WNBA game, but we're reaching a lot of people, so we can help promote. In fact, one of the most important things is utilize the venue in the market because they know, they live and breathe, and I think that's one of the things from either a promoter or a band that they come in, they say, we're going to do it this way. Well, we're San Antonio. We know the idiosyncrasies of how to reach our people.
Excellent.
So use the venues. Use the local venues because they're the ones that are living there. And the only way we're going to be successful if we sell tickets for the shows.
Jim, how much power does the assistant have in the business as the gatekeeper to their bosses?
I think we all know that they have an insane amount of power, and especially at the agencies, because most of the big agencies have their assistants actually listening on all the calls, so they're learning at the same time. So when you can't find your agent, they're actually the people who help you get your job done. So, and most importantly, and this is something we should never forget, is you should treat everybody with unbelievable respect, because there's no question that in this business you go up and down the ladder, and if you treat someone like crap, they can't wait to step on you. So
can I get a quick show of hands from everybody in the room who's ever worked as an assistant ever? They get promoted and they remember. Like, They remember. So be nice to those guys. It's important. Harvey, how important is it to interact with your fan base and give them access in today's marketplace?
Oh, it's incredibly important, especially for the developing artists out there. It's you need to engage with your fans. So whether that's, you know, we talked about it earlier, handling your social media yourself is incredibly important. It's like, get out there, tweet your fans. When you're at your shows, go out there, take photos with your fans. It'll take you half an hour after the show, and every single person that takes their photo with you after the show is going home. If they haven't even done it while they're driving home, they're posting it online. And I went and saw this band tonight, and here's my photo, and all you know, just want to show off to their friends. So it's the amount of social media bands get out of it is massive.
We work with a band called Straight No Chaser. They're a 10-piece a cappella band from Indiana. They have embraced their fan base in a way that I haven't seen an act do for a long time. And they take pictures from the stage of the audience, and then they post it, and then they let you tag themselves to be interactive with the fan base. And their Facebook numbers are incredible. It is an amazing thing, and they do it at every show. And like 30% of the people go online, find themselves, and tag themselves in the picture. What a great interactive experience to have with the fan. And on top of that, they invite the fans to take pictures. They're not they'll flash, no whatever. It's just like, have a ball. Please, post pictures online. Tell people we rocked. So it can go a long way, and it costs them nothing.
No, absolutely. No, it's incredibly important. It's an artist we work a lot with is Tiesto, and he is engaged all day long in his social media. He's got, I think, 12 million Facebook followers and, I don't know, a couple million Twitter followers, and you go on there and he's responding to people's tweets directly himself all the time. It's actually one of Red Light's clients, and you know, he's on all day long responding to his fans.
Having the artist voice makes all the difference in the world. So if I'm guessing that there's some artists in this room, and that's something you should never forget is, you know, my parents were in horse racing, and so I say you can always be a great jockey, but without a great horse, you're screwed, right? So it's the same thing. The artist is the horse, and you can be the best jockey in the world, but if you don't have a horse, you're screwed.
How many more times can you say horse and screwed in the same sentence?
I won't.
But you also need to keep in mind that there's a different voice for Twitter than there is for Facebook, and Facebook is more of a relationship, and it's a back and forth. It's something that needs to be fed and developed. Twitter, it's more informational. It's 140 characters. It's quick, and it goes through someone's feed, and it's gone. So yes, Twitter is important to push information out, but Facebook is where the relationship is built.
Is anyone in the room using Snapchat?
No. Jamie, can a Facebook page work as a real band website, or does it make a band look like a joke if they don't have a real dedicated website?
Get a real dedicated website. Facebook, love it. It sells tickets, but that's right now. What happens if it goes away tomorrow? Anybody remember Friendster?
Nope.
Okay, so you need to have your own place, your own page. And look, you can go to somebody at a high school, in college. You have a little brother. They're going to be going to school with somebody that can build you a website. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to have flash all over it. But you need one, and it has to have a sign up for more news, and so that you can build your database. You have to have your own. Don't count on someone keeping it for you.
There's a lot of cheap options too. Like,
yes.
You know, there was one site, one page or something like that, where you can develop a site and they'll host it for you too, and it costs, you know.
Right, just own your domain. You can go back and invest in it later, but
Yes.
own it.
Yep.
Sauvignon, wait. Do you have another delightful pairing for our panelists today?
Yes, for our final tasting here, we're going to have a deep and rich Almondine Vineyards, which is only the finest boxed Cabernet. And paired up with Twinkies.
Oh shit, it is a box. That's awesome.
It's got some legs to it too.
Box wine is underrated.
You paired it with a Twinkie? That's awesome. Let's do a little word association, just say the first thing that pops into your mind.
Oh, great.
Oh no.
Jamie, MySpace.
Over.
Jim, Groupon.
Here to stay.
Harvey, anal.
Next.
Retentive.
Jeff, marry, fuck, kill. Jessica Simpson, Jessica Alba, Jessica Biel. Go.
I'd marry Jessica Simpson. She's looking pretty good right now. Saw her on those. Who's the other one?
Jessica Alba, Jessica Biel.
Who's Jessica Alba?
Oh my God.
He asked me how to retweet a couple weeks ago, so we're gonna let that go. Let's talk about the hashtag. Does the AT&T Center have a commonly used hashtag?
Not yet.
Okay, you should do that.
We are.
Jim, are you pro or against the hashtag?
Well, you know I'm pro, but a lot of people don't like my hashtag, so I'm still pro.
Jamie, does size really matter in regards to the length of your tweets?
Absolutely. Unless you're, if you're retweeting something directly from Twitter, you only got 140 characters. So if you're retweeting something directly from Twitter, then it won't carry over who you're tweeting it from, not necessarily. But if you're using any other platform to retweet, then the person's tag is eating out of your 140 characters. You want to be as succinct, as tight as possible.
Okay. Harvey, does the hashtag size matter?
Yeah, I think it totally, I believe it does. I think there's, you know, a lot of people look at it both ways.
Some of those are just huge now. It's like taking up 25 characters.
Yeah, no, I agree that it's, my opinion is that people like to hear their own voice. So even when they're retweeting somebody else, they want to put in their own 2 cents on it. So the longer the original hashtag is.
So you want the retweet?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about what the big boys do. Can each of you tell us one thing that most established acts do that newer acts don't? Let's start with Jeff.
Oh, that's...
We'll come back to Jeff then.
Yeah,
We'll start with Jim.
Warm up.
What do you mean?
The older artists take the time to warm up, either with their instrument or their voice. They take the time to warm up. So when they go on stage, they're, you know, they're
younger acts just jump on stage for the most part then?
I wouldn't say most, but a lot do, yeah.
Jamie?
Older acts do not involve themselves in social media the way that younger acts do, and they should.
Harvey?
I think it's that the older acts, or the more successful acts that are still around, continue to participate in their day-to-day business. You know, even Amy, who I replaced on the panel, who unfortunately couldn't make it, you know, was telling us from the last Rolling Stones tour about her calls with Mick Jagger to discuss the details of the tour.
Yeah, she pretty much came during that phone call when she said.
Oh, absolutely, 1,000%. And you know, those artists are still engaged in their business. Last I checked, Mick Jagger doesn't need money, doesn't need to tour, doesn't need to be, and even if he wants to, certainly doesn't need to be engaged in the day-to-day marketing of his shows. But he chooses to, and that's why these bands are
100%.
You might say he's type A.
You might say he's a control freak.
He designed the Billboard campaign that they did, like Mick did himself.
The tongue thing around LA?
Yeah.
All coming back to me on what the younger acts should be doing.
But the big ones don't?
It's really hard to say in where I'm sitting now inside the buildings because...
They should sell more tickets then so they can play your room.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you, Dan.
This was an amazing journey. Now I want to open up to the room for some questions. If you want to line up to the mic, or I think you raise your hand. Somebody's running around with the mic. Yeah? Okay, yeah, great. Raise your hand. And I want to remind you, I'm asking for questions, not statements, not pitches. Questions. And for those, everyone gets a prize if you ask a question, and at the end, Jamie will pick out the best 3 questions, and you'll win those awesome prizes.
Yes, please say your
So
name.
raise your hand, and anybody, you can ask them, me, nothing is off limits. Go for it.
Call them out.
Huh? Yeah, let's go up here. Huh? No fucking statements, and I will fuck with you.
I kind of wanted to get your guys' take on emerging digital platforms for
What's your
marketing.
name?
Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah. I think one thing that's kind of underutilized is YouTube ads, as the general population consumes a lot of their music through YouTube. I wanted to see what each individually you guys are doing through your channels and what you think of that going into the future.
Jamie?
I was really busy writing down that question, but we do use YouTube. We use a company called Dash2 that buys, U2 is an aggregator, they're an agency, and using them we are able to get into different sites, including YouTube pre-roll, at a lower cost than we would if we went directly to YouTube. So we are going in ways like, we are going in directions like that. That said, I think as concert promoters, we don't need to be so concerned about where everyone is going. We need to be concerned about where everyone is. Snapchat seems to be getting some traction. I'm still not sold on it. It tends to be a lot of boobs in nether regions.
Wait a minute, what site is that again?
Nether regions.
I know, what was the site?
Snapchat.
Okay, downloading that shit immediately.
I got a quick two-part. I'm in a tier 2 market. Tours pass us up quite frequently.
What's your name?
Rich Wing.
Hey, Rich.
How you doing? So, can you share with us some of your secrets on negotiating back-end deals so we can grab these artists that are, top tours that would pass up a normal, A market, or would pass up a B market? And how would you go about looking for those artists' fan base, like you were talking about earlier?
What do you do? Where are you from? A venue?
I work in Sacramento, talent buyer.
Who are you asking?
I was asking anyway. Oh, actually, Miss Loeb up there. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Good call. Yeah.
Well, I'm on the marketing side, so I'm not really on the deal-making
so
side.
Promoters.
I can,
please.
Well, I can help you from a venue side because there's different ways the venues make their money, and believe it or not, it's not on actual ticket sales, but it is through ticket sales.
Dude, we're not going there today. It's not having that conversation in this room.
Okay.
I think really when it comes down, we deal because I promote across Canada and dabble into the US, we promote in large markets, Toronto, Vancouver, down into the smallest bohonk towns, some of these places. So it comes down to, working with the agents that you deal with generally and exposing them to new markets and proving to them why it's worth stopping there as opposed to just driving straight on through. So, when I first got into this a while ago, even Calgary and Edmonton were considered kind of secondary markets on the Canadian touring front, where our company took that, the larger companies, what is now Live Nation, but at the time were MCA, and well before that, they avoided most of those markets generally, even though some of these cities like Calgary and Edmonton have way more money per capita than a lot of the other cities. What's that?
Isn't that all just ice?
Yeah, pretty much. And oil. Don't forget that. It's kind of important. So,
especially for our country.
So it's really, but then, so now, Calgary and Edmonton are on that prime touring market. So now we're looking at some smaller markets on top of that. And it's really working with your agents to prove to them why they need to come to your market. It's pick the agent you work with the most, convince him why you have a market that needs to go to, tell him to give you one shot at it, and work your balls off. Prove it, and then you can use that as the example for all the other agents, how to get the acts to come to that market.
Was your question how to get insides, basically, on the show?
Just negotiating tactics for a tier 2 market, because we get passed up quite frequently with top tours.
There you go.
And then the second part was to Ms. Loeb on how you go about finding that fan base and promoting to that fan base.
Well, we, as a venue and as a promoter, we have our own people that we've engaged, and we work quite hard to engage. And it's about having a good balance of relevance as well as a push for marketing, but you try to couch it so that it's relevant. You give people pre-sale access. You tell people, show information. If there's a live photo from the band, or if there's a 15-second live snippet, if I can find something on YouTube that I can repost, then I absolutely do it. You try to use your content to stay relevant and to activate your fans. But like I said, the band's fans, if I can get every artist that plays my building to engage their audience for my show, I'm a happy girl.
Okay.
Let me go back. I'm sorry. Let me say one thing for Joe really quick. Joe, the other thing that we've been doing for the last 1.5 to 2 years is, as you see music platforms like Pandora start to take hold and Spotify, we're doing some advertising with them. We haven't seen that really take hold, but things like Bands in Town, we've seen good results from doing pre-sales with them, and things like Songkick, they're just developing now a way to get promoters involved. So that should be coming within the next 12 months.
I'm known as everybody's favorite cousin, DJ Will from Jacksonville. Oh, that's right, Jacksonville. Check this out. when Pimp Steinberg asked you, Morris, the question about flyers or social media, you say no comparison. Why is that? Because I love flyers, and I have a strong street team. Tell me why you say that.
I wouldn't say that they don't work. I think you're engaging people in two totally different ways. When you're using a flyer, you're engaging the fan where they hang out. So if you're going to perform and you're getting flyers into somebody's hands at a show that's similar to yours, it's great. It's one-on-one marketing. You're face-to-face with that person. Twitter, on the other hand, is, you're removed from the people, so it's different. But in terms of flyers, like, we used to look at, let's maximize revenues. Let's put a combo flyer together that's the ad met. It has 6 different shows on it. Here you go. Nobody fucking wants that anymore. And so they're going to look at it. They're going to throw it on the ground. If you create one of the things we've been working with lately has been trying to create an original flyer. So something that people want to keep, not just because it's an ad for the show. It's because it's something they want to take home and they want to keep because they're your fan and they want to take that and they want to retain that forever. And it's on top of that, you hope they go and buy a ticket.
By the way, something we didn't get to today, but if you guys come to the after party, get a chance to talk to Jim about stage shows. Because part of the best marketing you do is have an amazing live show, and Jim's worked for some amazing bands that create a show inside that make you want to come back once you're there. Getting him in is one thing, but getting him to come back is another. And that's something he spent a lot of time doing on the road. So if you get a chance to ask him about that, he's a great resource.
He's letting me break the rule and make a statement. So I spent a lot of years at Warner in artist development, and we were your safety net. You don't have that safety net anymore. Everything Jamie's saying about getting involved, you said older artists don't like to be involved. I've discovered that younger artists have a resistance. I'm a musician. I don't have to do this.
Really?
You do. You have to participate. You have to work with the promoters. You have to do everything that a Warner or an Atlantic or a Columbia did 20 years ago. You are your label. You are your mouthpiece. You are your organization. Unless you find people that you can lean on, you can't sit by the sidelines saying, I deserve a career. Why am I not getting it? We have this great level playing field. That's great. You got to stand out above that playing field. And the only way you're going to do it is to participate.
I was wondering, like, if you have a bigger artist like a Taylor Swift and she partners with a brand like Coke and your venue only gives out Pepsi, how do you address conflicting brands like in your venue or at your show?
What's your name?
Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
With the tour sponsorships, anything that's inside the bowl, where the seated area is part of the artist. So the sponsors that come into the venue, when the Spurs sell it, understand if we're a Coke venue, but someone's sponsored by Pepsi, they can have all the rights on the stage and inside the bowl area, but their product's not going to be served. And usually the sponsors, especially in the soda or non-alcoholic, understand it. But again, if it's a tour, we accommodate those sponsors. In fact, we're the AT&T Center, and we've had Verizon, Sprint. It makes it a little tough, but we don't want to lose the show, and they understand it, and there's stipulations that we work through, and all the sponsors pretty much understand that now in 2014. But yeah, we can work through it.
My name's Steve Chilton. My question's more for Dan, but I guess everyone else. You go into a lot of rooms in a lot of cities. How much is how active that venue is involved in the marketing a factor when you're deciding what rooms or cities to go into? Like, because you rely a lot on their promotions, is like, this room's really great room, but they're really bad at marketing, versus this room's not as good and they have a much more active part. Does that factor in on the top line of you, or more how you do things once the show's done?
And and Harvey's would be good to answer this too, but we do a lot of shows. I think we're right around 400 a year right now throughout North America. And what we go to over and over again is promoter-friendly venues that are easy to work with, that can help us, venues that have an email list, that want to get involved, that want to help, that can get involved, opposed to just taking the check and don't really care if we're there or not because we're creating more work for them because we're there. So venues that are promoter-friendly, that want our business and go out of the way, we do everything we can to play their rooms, but you play the room you got to play, and sometimes there are difficult rooms that are beautiful and gorgeous. I don't want to name any historic venue in Nashville that's difficult, but some rooms in particular can be hard, but they're beautiful, and you pay the freight and you play there. because the artists love it. But if you can play an easier room, we tend to push as much volume towards the rooms that help us, that make our days easier. There's no question. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think you've nailed it on the head. I think like the comparison you're making of saying not as good venue, strong marketing versus better venue, weaker marketing, doesn't necessarily correlate. Some markets, you're fucked. You know, you have your one venue of that size you can go into. But when you have a choice, like Dan said, it doesn't just come down to marketing per se. It's, you know, if they are the promoter-friendly venue, that's where you try and push the business. But sometimes that venue just doesn't make sense for your show, and so you have to go to the other option. And it is what it is, and sometimes it's the artist making that choice.
Last question.
My name is Mitch. I kind of have bad luck because I'm asking a pretty similar question of that. I run a 1,000-person venue in Los Angeles. And what does it take for a venue?
What venue?
Los Globos on Sunset.
You know?
It's smaller.
No.
Where is it on Sunset?
Start, for marketing purposes, start by
there.
making sure every promoter in your market knows you exist.
It's on the east side. It's on Silver Lake. So on that note, but how does a venue stand out to make it more promoter friendly?
Make sure the promoters in the market
Yeah, make sure we know about it.
Well, I mean, I do Insomniac, Golden Voice shows as well. Okay. So it's not too small.
No, but I mean, there are times when we look for, when Niederlander looks for a 1,000-seater in LA, and you know, the people don't want to go down to Anaheim; they want to play LA proper. I actually just had someone ask me about that recently, and I referred them to the Belasco. If I'd known about you, you would have been on the list.
I'll have to give you my business card.
Please do.
But if you're in business with Gillette, that's a good start. All right, well, thank you for your questions. That was great. We're running out of time. Jamie, who won the third place? Best question.
Shit. Third place, best question is to...
Which is 50
Rich.
custom tour passes.
Rich.
Where's Rich? Hook Rich up with 50 custom tour passes. Who wins the custom tour AdMet from Bill Young Design?
DJ Will.
All right.
That's cool, DJ.
And who is going to be joining us at Aspen Line in December with a free registration? Courtesy of Jim Lewi.
Joe.
Where's Joe? Joe. Joe. That's awesome. Thank you very much for your questions. Come to our after party if you want to talk to us. Bill Young is buying the drinks. If you don't have passes to get in, come up. I'll hand you one. It'll get you right in. It's just a couple blocks away. It starts right after, runs till 7 p.m. All of the panelists will be there, right? You guys are all coming?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Give it up for Jim Lewi, Harvey Woman, Chabon, Jamie Loeb, and our sommelier, Jeff White. I'm Dan Steinberg. We'll see you at Rusty's.